I really think they will. But if they do lose today, then they are going to be in some trouble um, in terms of the overall group and being able to maybe advance to the playoffs. So obviously they're hoping to remedy the fact they made the playoffs last season, but then forgot to get their visas to actually play. So in the top left-hand side, starting us off in our first of three best of twos in this best of seven. I know it's all confusing, isn't it? Our red Protoss player from Jinair Green Wings is SOS. Taking on the blue Zerg in the bottom right-hand side, Jigua, who has been an interesting choice from Invictus lately, to say the least. Jigua has come in and has shown us some good games. 2-0 Scarlet last week was very surprising, even sent out in the ace match against Dia, where he did not win. But yeah, Jigua was also kind of not used until last week even, so it's kind of cool to see him suddenly coming up and showing up, and if you can take down Scarlet, well, maybe you can find some way to take down SOS here as well. Then we have Rex Coffee for games number 3 and 4, and Maru versus Ayasonu going to happen for games number 5 and 6. So Maru is coming up today, as we do just have early on here, our probe sat behind our mineral line. Cybernex core is dropping down, and Nexus is starting up the probe here as well. So getting this ready to roll, gateway coming down, and we do see the third hatchery from Jigua, so nothing too crazy just yet early on in this. Even the natural hatchery getting placed as well, so nice fast 3-hatch play as Jigua will set up here in the early stages. Jinair, like I was saying, they really need a win today. A win today without going to the ace match would put them up to 8 points in the group. So they would be tied with Newbie and 1 point behind Kaizi Gaming, with Kaizi Gaming remaining to be played against next week. And that would basically make Jinair and Kaizi a must-win matchup for either of those teams, because it's likely that Newbie would then also win against Team LP. Or even if you don't win against Team LP, if Team LP win, then actually, you know, one of those teams is basically going to end up in third place, very likely. So this is a really, really this is an important series, but it's obviously an important series that, you know, when you send out SOS and Maru, you're kind of expecting to win. Against Kaizi Gaming, it won't be that simple. It'll be a little bit more complex than that. So I'm seeing as a depth wonder down. Is it the first time Maru is playing? It is the first time this season. He did play in Season 1. There was some jokes and some kind of funny comments about how, you know, Jinair Green Wings send out Maru and SOS. Arguably, I mean, maybe not right now the hottest 2 players on Jinair because of Rogue and Trap, but arguably overall the hottest 2 players on Jinair who, you know, they send them out against arguably the weakest team in the league, Invictus Gaming, who don't have a single Korean player on their roster. So, you know, it was kind of amusing. I think everyone had a good little giggle because it's just such a Jinair thing to do, apparently. So, yeah, some good times we'll have Viola in that regard, as we do see Resonating Glaives starting up right here. Depth on the way out, a second gateway dropping, and there's obviously 2 more as well down on the naturals. So we are going to see SOS have an interesting wall using the pylon as part of it, but is going to be going into a pretty aggressive Glaives play. I mean, 4 gateways is obviously a real commitment across the map to be able to look for some damage in the early stages. Things running up, going to be running depth there to pick off the first one. Jigua just looking for information. As he has no information, right? This Overlord did fly into the natural before, but that's about it. SOS takes this 1 gas to the right-hand side. I mean, 4 minutes and 10 is already late for the gases here. So that's maybe, I mean, only by 15 seconds or so, but maybe it's a bit of an indicator that this is going to be, you know, some extra gateways, some extra mineral focus on units in these early stages, as we do have the Lings going to spread themselves out, go in a couple of different directions, and just try and figure out what they might be able to get done here over the next little while. So depths continue to shade out down at the right-hand side. There's quite a few of them here, actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't know why I had to count up, but yeah, 7 adepts. Now, what does Jigua have? Has got roaches started. First queens quite far forwards. Obviously, the adepts will look to shade past those queens, though. There's the queens firing, and there's the adepts going to go shading up into the natural and up towards the main base. They're going to be, well, having Lings on top of them means that they can't really commit in just there, so Not too much to be done. Meanwhile, other Adepts are starting to show up as well, and it looks as though SOS just going to use all of this as a way to get the third Nexus up. Does take that forward third base here as well on Disco Bloodbath. This is the real test, right? As the Adepts coming in on the other side at the same time, you really start to see, okay, well, how well can Jigua do in the multitasking? I like what he did here, shading the Adepts back rather than forwards, means that, of course, you can then get them out of trouble. And so far, SOS has not found a way to end that with the Adepts at the front. We'll try with the Warp Prism in the main base, another technique to try and just get these Adepts all over the place and be in a bit of a frustration. But Jigua's pretty quick, you know, there's the Ling showing up again. SOS has done more damage with his first Adept in the game than he did with this entire Resonating Glaive attack. Or, well, in the end, just now, he's done a little bit better. He's picked up 4 drones with the attack in the main. The Ling's just a little slow to clean that up. Also, 14 Lings did go down, so it's not like SOS did nothing here. He's still trading very efficiently, but if you're not hurting the work account, it allows Jigua to keep on mining and keep on building. Adept's going to start charging forwards, shading in toward the third base as the Roaches. They put themselves out the front as well. A couple of extra Creep Tumors dropping down, and again, Adepts trying to see what they would like to do. Evo Chamber is coming up to being about halfway done. 5 extra drones in the production tab. Plus 1 on Blink, the follow-up here from SOS. He's going to go into pretty aggressive follow-up. With Glaives already done, it seems like he wants to get Stalkers up and Blink to really help deal with the Roach potential. And then using the Adepts to deal with the Zerglings rather than, you know, getting charged, which maybe a bit more typically. He says, well, you know what, for now my Adepts will kind of deal with that sort of phase. And eventually you want Charge Offs anyways, because Charge Offs do add a lot against Roaches too. And you gotta give it to SOS. I mean, he has kept a lot of these Adepts alive. We're talking about 1 Adept lost throughout all of this aggression, and while yes, he didn't do a lot of damage, you know, yes, the resource lost is good and it's kind of still increasing. But he didn't do a lot of damage, but he's kept the Adepts alive while not dealing a lot of damage, which means this follow-up push becomes very powerful. I mean, typically an Adept Immortal follow-up is going to be pretty strong, and now it's going to be even stronger. A lot of Adepts already in there. Stalkers will have Blink as well, so you can reinforce with something other than just Adepts if he feels the need to, which is always, again, like I was saying, nice if you get rid of the Lings and then you're just up against the Roach fight. So, just going to be seeing. Protoss player coming down the left-hand side. Roach is going to continue forwards. Roaches and Ravagers. All setting up on the third base as we will see Lings coming in, and the Adepts are going to be in the main base having a pretty good time, actually, so that's a great start to this. Stalker's blinking back as a couple more corrosive bars coming down. SOS places 2 force fields, 3 force fields to start this off. The Adepts go from the main base to the natural. Roaches are trying to chase them. They're killing a lot of Zerglings transferring around, and well, SOS is just picking Jigua apart with these force fields at the moment. Doesn't even dodge the corrosive bars here. I mean, why does he need to? He is in a pretty fantastic position already, as we are going to be seeing more and more drones will continue to be in some trouble. So is the third base. The Warp Prism is still in the main. In the end, it is not in the last day or two, but about a month ago. Currently, we have about like 1,500. No, that's not true. Maybe like 1,1400 gifted subs on the channel. So yes, mostly the Kybrid, but there was a bunch of other people who support a bunch as well. Whoosh, Papa Mitch, Montian, V Triple, a couple others whose names probably escape me off the top of my head. As we go into game number 2 of Jin Air Green Wings versus Invictus Gaming. In the top right-hand side, our blue Zerg player, it is Jigua. Up against the red Protoss in the bottom left-hand side, it is going to be SOS from Jin Air. Again, I kind of find it a bit funny as well. You know, Jin Air decided to send out their best players. But in a way, it makes sense, right? Because, you know, obviously we've got Rogue and Trap preparing for their GSL final, so that kind of makes sense. But then, you know, what about Kyo? Kyo usually plays in this, and instead this week they're just like, you know what, Kyo, you take the week off. You know, we're just going to let Maru and SOS just, you know, pick apart the Chinese team just so they don't invite us back next season. Drone's going to be coming in to pick away at the pylon. Yeah, Kybrit is the guy that's been sub-bombing a bunch of different streamers. Winter, Maynard, Pig, a couple others as well. It's been pretty crazy. I feel like, I haven't checked for a couple of days, but I think we're going to drop like 400 subs tomorrow or something. When is it? And then like 2 or 3 days we're going to drop 400 subs. And then a few days after that we're going to drop another 200. Very, very funky. Yeah, apparently we have 1,426 gifted subs at the moment. Which means that we have about 350 real subs. Ay. Which is kind of a little low, but alas. We'll see what happens in the end. Let's see this probe taking a few shots, depth shading forwards here from SOS. So just coming in, looking to see what's going on. This time he'll add on 2 more gateways right away without any tech. So this is also quite aggressive from SOS, right? No tech choice at all. Obviously, it just means he's going to be building quite a lot of these gateway units initially. So very interesting. He did initially build his pylon on the low ground as well. So his extra gates come up in the main, and now this Overlord's going to scout it. The Twilight Council will drop on the natural. The 2 Adepts were shading around towards the 3rd, but they decided to stick in the natural, where they picked away at some of these lings. Now they are going to start picking up drones. There's one, there's actually another Zergling rather than the drone I was expecting to get the kill on. Adepts will shade back out to the bottom side. Two drones killed in total. Don't think you can be upset with that, as you obviously, again, you keep the 2 Adepts alive, so they're still here for the future in SOS. Just going to start resonating glaives again. Just starts up that upgrade and gets himself ready to go into, you know, the glaives, the Adepts. I mean, why the heck not? I'm still not convinced about this Warlock featuring 2 pylons. That's very weak and feels very abusable, but, well, right now the Adept count is moving out on the map already, and so there won't be much of a chance to use and abuse that pylon Warlock. As we do see the Overlord here being pushed away by a Stalker as well, so that's going to be a pickup kill for SOS. And Jigra is already making a lot of Zerglings now. Resonating Glaives isn't done yet, so SOS does not really want to commit to a fight just now. And that's maybe Jigra's problem, right? You know, these Adepts aren't going to properly commit, and he's still making Lings when he has enough to scare them away. He maybe needed some of those Lings to be drones already, and then to make the Lings and the Roaches to help defend against the Adepts coming in now, because that ordering really affects you a lot, because it means you're missing workers for quite a significant amount of time. We're going to be seeing the Adepts coming forwards here. Going up in towards the natural expansions. The Adept's going to go shading in. I don't think they commit to this, though. There's a lot of Lings there, as they can actually stay on the front, and on the front they actually picked up a Queen. Now they're going to get surrounded, so this time SOS actually will start to lose some of these Adepts, and this doesn't go as well for him as it did last time. He'll shade to the main base, where he'll look to pick up some drones. There is no defense in the main base, so while the Adept count was being worked away at down on that low ground, now they get into the main, they pick up 6 workers just like that. And that's going to be 8 drones and a few Adepts over down on the 3rd base as well. They're going to be seeing these Adepts trying to transfer over to that 3rd also, just getting them all joined up together, just so they can work as well as possible together as one, especially against those Zerglings. The wraparounds become that much less effective, as this is a dead Queen. Jigra just really letting his unit control lapse a little bit here, as we do see the same follow-up from SOS. Blink, +1 attack, and Immortal Production. So continue to set that up. So the Adept's going to go shading away, back out into the center of the map. And now the aggression will cease until SOS decides to push again with that larger attack that we saw in Game 1. And honestly, I kind of feel like this time around, while SOS did lose more Adepts, he did more damage. 14 drones, 41 Lings. There's still that 1,000 resource loss difference. And that resource loss difference is huge, especially because this time around SOS has been comfortably mining more for the last minute or so as well. Well, higher worker count really helping him out. So this upcoming push from SOS, it was hard to deal with last game. Feels like it's probably going to be very hard to deal with in this game as well. 2 Adepts going to go shading elsewhere once more here. Adepts continue to shade around, see what's going to happen. Lings do get us around and we'll be able to pick away at the Adepts, so little bits of damage being done. As the Blink, the +1 continue to come into play. Well, Prism heads to the main base. We saw this obviously in the last game as well, and it really was, I think, the move that started to pick Jigoro apart a little bit. The Adepts in the main forcing units to come and respond definitely made this kind of interesting, as we do see the Prism. Up on the top side, Blink is going to finish up on the Twilight Council in a moment. And again, Baneling Nest and Zerglings on the way, so he's actually going to change up his way to deal with this. The problem is, there's a good amount of force fields here. The Baneling Nest isn't ready yet. Chico has 1,100 gas in the bank. That's kind of crazy. Last game he was going into a Spire. This game he's literally just making that Bane Nest, but is he going to be able to make enough Banes? He only has 14 Zerglings. I kind of get the feeling the answer to that is going to be no, as we do see the first force fields dropping down. This time there's only one Immortal here. There's Immortal number 2 starting to join up. The Adepts warp into the main base, and, well, we've seen this all before. GG and SOS does pick up the first 2 points, as expected here, for Jin Air Greenwing. So SOS taking the first 2 games. So let's get into this, as we have got to the bottom right side. Our blue Terran player representing Invictus Gaming, Coffee, he was up against the red Zerg player who just picked up his first maps for Jin Air last week. This is Rex. Picked up his first maps for Jin Air and was... that was actually very nice for him. He did that against Cyan as well, which is definitely not an easy opponent. Not just his first maps this season, by the way, since Season 1. Rex was actually one of the Chinese Taiwanese players who was very, very unfortunate, I would say, in matchups. And while a lot of the other Chinese Taiwanese players were able to, pick up a game here, a couple of games there, they played against other Chinese players at times, Rex didn't. And when he played against the Koreans, he got, horrific draws. So honestly feels very, it kind of feels cool that Rex was able to pick up his, first couple points on the board, really get that going, as you do see this SCV running around on the top side. 4 Zerglings, couple of Queens on the way out. There's Overlord going to pop out from Rex here, so that's going to be heading up through the top side for a moment or so. Reaper continuing to the upper left as well is going to be arriving into that natural expansion in a moment or so. A few Zerglings are ready to fight this back. SCV coming in as well. So a little bit of setup here at the moment as... yeah, just going to be seeing the Lings continue to fight the Reaper. Ling speed on the way up. Nothing too ridiculous. Now, playing against Coffee. Coffee has not had a bad season here either in the China Team Championship. 1-1 against Impact in Week 1. Those were some very messy games. It definitely didn't feel like Impact was playing his best. But then Coffee also went 2-0 against Misaki in Week 2. And in Week 3, 1-1 against Time. Coffee is yet to not pick up at least one map in a series he plays. And it feels like that could continue today. If he's playing as well as that, Rex definitely feels like he could get a map. And Invictus Gaming need at least one map in these 2 games to be able to take it to a game number 5 and 6. With Iasoni versus Maru. I'm not saying Iasoni versus Maru is their best chances, but otherwise they're going to get 4-0'd before we even get to the Maru games, which isn't the end of the world because we will still see Maru play. Games 5 and 6 will be played no matter the score. And then again, if it's 3-3, we play an ace match as well, as this Reaper's going to go down. I'm not sure what it was really hoping to achieve there. I mean, I know it kind of delayed this a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm not quite convinced just yet, as we're going to be seeing the Fusion Core dropping down. It's just about halfway done. Fusion Core about halfway done at the moment. Just going to see the Queen popping up, a few extra Zerglings coming in, as we do see Hellions going to run by into the main base. Coffee again looking for some damage here early, but all he's going to find is Zerglings. Not doing great just yet, as we're going to see the Lings will clean that up. I mean, it's quite a lot of Zerglings in fairness, right? 15 Lings down, and he is going to keep making Hellions. So he's going to keep making Hellions. That should obviously help him out because, in that case, it should force more Zerglings to be made. This was a shame move commanded on the Queens for a moment or two there. A couple extra shots, and he could have had quite a lot of drones. Did force some mini drone pulls. Does slow down mining. Third hatchery. Gonna complete here in a moment or so as well. Zerglings will continue down to the bottom side of the map. We'll see this one Zergling, which is wandering down as well. Command Center drops in from Coffee. Third CC coming up at the front of the natural. Battlecruiser is going to be building up right here. As you do see, 2 extra barracks being placed at the moment. Again, just an Overlord sitting out the front. Lings and Banes still being built as it's going to be obviously just hoping that he can deal with a bit of a Hellbat attack. But actually, maybe more than that. These Banes are aggressive. And to deal with a Hellbat attack, the counter attack is pretty nice sometimes. There's the BC teleported into the main. So Rex is going to pull away just as this Bane Burst is about to hit. And there is nothing here to defend. Absolutely nothing. Factory is building a brand new reactor. And he's going to get up the ramp. Okay, he's going to have to bust down these depots, but that should be possible. He actually sends some Banelings to the mineral line. I don't like that, because right now these Zerglings up here aren't doing anything useful. If these Zerglings pulled back, they could kill the mineral line anyways, and then the Banelings could have busted down these depots at the front. And obviously that makes this a lot scarier, so yeah, not really liking the control choice there, but it might not matter anyways as Rex kills 17 SCVs. I mean, the Battlecruiser just doesn't seem to have done much at the moment so far, going back on half health already. And, well, 30 SCVs down. That's a difficult recovery. As you do see, the last couple of Hellions are starting to drop, more and more Lings coming over. He does get a rewall on the ramp here, so he's going to be able to at least defend the main for a while. We'll see what Rex wants to do. It looks like he's just going to build drones. Could have maybe moved in another set of Banes and ran up here, but actually, with Hellion production continuing, probably not quite worthwhile, as Coffee will survive. Stimpack finished for his 1 Marine that is sat behind this wall off. Obviously not a pretty situation. The factory will make way for the barracks on that reactor to give a bunch of Marines, and the factory to a tech lab. This is just one of those scenarios where Coffee threw away Hellions early. But it's kind of weird. This is why Battlecruiser into Bio is very weak, because if it was Battlecruiser into Mech, he wouldn't have stopped making Hellions, and the more Hellions you have in this scenario, you know, even if you've got some Hellions across the map out of position, you're probably going to have, you're not going to be building a new reactor on your factory, so you have more and more Hellions up, and you know, that just means you typically, and you also continue to build Battlecruisers, so one of them pops out to help you defend. But because it's Bio, you have to invest into the barracks, and so you have this kind of production downtime. You set up add-ons for those barracks as well, and that downtime is just being abused absolutely here by Rexes. And again, that Bane Burst works wonderfully so far. It's put Rex obviously into a fantastic position here in this game 3. At this point, what does Coffee do? Down 30 workers, and more, and more. As we are just going to be seeing the Battlecruiser hanging out over to the side. Well, I mean, BC doesn't even have much to do really usefully, right? Unless it teleports back across the map, so doesn't feel great right here as Marines attack. And they're going to be setting themselves up defensively. This is the issue. Probably the best thing you can do right now as Coffee is to just attack, right? Because you're so far behind on economy. I feel like your best chance is to just go and make something happen. I mean, we don't have Baneling speed yet. He loads up the Marines. It just feels like the Marines on their own, what are they going to do? Like, bring that tank along with you. Can you really recover from this? I know there's a 3rd CC, but that's a hell of a lot of SCVs to get back in. This upcoming supply block could hurt if he doesn't fix it. There is 1 depot on the way at least. So you have the 2 medevacs. They are going to move their way over to this left-hand side. So those 2 medevacs looking to get in towards the natural expansion. And as we get into unload, Zergling's going to go running in as well. And the Marine's very quick to clean this up. Take a little bit of damage. Zergling's going to continue running forwards, and well, again, the Marines just lift up and get out of there, back around the natural as Battlecruiser comes in towards the 3rd base as well. Going to be seeing a drone being picked away at, and well, this is the issue, right? It's just not enough damage, and at the same time, a Bane drop into the main. 9 more SCVs killed off here. This is truly looking to be a bit of a disaster. The Marines will stay in, Overlord will get taken down, and this Battlecruiser just hanging around the top of this base here as more Zerglings of Rex continuing down at the bottom. Lord morphing in, as we will see again. These Marines, a couple of medevacs, they're going to move along, and well, they probably could have found themselves a queen there, but the moment of indecision has probably cost them that opportunity. And that's going to be kind of a rough scenario, all said and done. There's not really much more to say, right? This was the attempt for Coffee to get aggressive, and the longer this doesn't work out for, the longer Rex is sitting 30 plus workers ahead. And this is why I know he didn't have like a ton of units to push with right away, but I mean, he's been trying to drop around, etc. I feel like, what if you just get that tank siege up and you just try and go for it? I just feel like in that case, maybe you can perhaps just that little bit of extra oomph, maybe make your way through. Now it feels extremely hopeless, as I guess he has drops in 2 different locations, but also Rex is doing a good job of continuing to harass Banelings, loading into Overlords and heading towards mineral lines once again. Trading well over here, but you've also got to remember Rex is up 1-1 upgrades against 0-0. Surprised Rex hasn't started up 2-2, as he is going, well, he's actually finished a hive. And he already has the upgrade lead. I mean, it would just be nice to keep that extended and to keep that upgrade lead, right? Just, I know he probably doesn't think that this game is going to go long. Oh my god, those SCVs actually pulling together doesn't help at all. SCVs in the main going down as well. Now Coffee has 18 workers left, and again, this should just be a swarm of units here from Rex as he gets into the Ultra Cavern. Not really necessary, but at the end of the day, why not just play it safe? Get up to those Ultras. I mean, Ultras are going to be absolutely unkillable here. Coffee is just going to GG out. I mean, so much damage taken as well. I mean, basically, I'll know if that's going to come back or not, and I'll let you guys know. Just wanted to let you guys know a little bit of info. Just fingers crossed it doesn't happen through the Maru games. Like, please. I kind of like to cast those. Top left-hand side. Alright, Terran player. This is Coffee. Up against the blue Zerg in the bottom right, it is Rex. What's up, Goblin 24? How am I doing? I'm doing good. How you doing? Thanks for dropping by today. As you do see, Coffee gonna open with the proxy racks this time around. First drone is heading out to scout. He's gonna rally into that, so he's gonna see it. Ooh, he changes his direction, goes further to the left before he pulls up. Now he checks down. Actually, Rex is checking everywhere. He was actually correct to rally where he was initially. I mean, he is still going to go up there, but a few seconds lost. And there's Coffee. Well, he's about halfway done on the first barracks. I mean, at this point, he's going to pull 2 more drones. The SCVs are in a very good position to be able to keep dodging away, though. So actually, this isn't... Oh my god, that poor drone is running from one side to the other, and every time it gets there, the SCV just changes sides as well anyways. 2 more drones show up. The thing is, the Marine can pop out in a very safe position here as well. This SCV is going to overtake building this barracks for a moment, try and jump around. You don't really want to lose the SCV. I mean, he's got 2 more coming, so it's not a huge delay on the barracks. Maybe about 5-6 seconds. I mean, obviously, it still does help. And 2 more SCVs had to come across the map as well, so the drone pull is still nice as the hatchery. About to finish up. The spawning pool not far off. And here we go. First bunkers can start to drop down as Coffee will begin to apply pressure here at the front. This is just a 2-rack, so you don't want to lose too much to it, because typically behind this you can already see gas is up. Factory will drop down pretty quick, so you can't lose too much to this as the Zerg, otherwise you really do fall into trouble, because again, the Terran is transition, following up already. I like this, the bunker helping with high ground vision and obviously just evacuating it for a moment. I don't like this spine being built in range, I never do. It always feels as though it's just building the mineral line, because well, the chance, you know, unless you're extremely confident you can keep those Marines pushed back, it's just going to be a prime target, obviously. And you know what? This bunker's going to finish, so this is quite nice. The Marines are going to be able to get into that. SCVs can begin repairing already, and well, drones being pulled, but the couple of Lings that are running in are going down as well. And these Marines are followed up by Reapers as well. Reapers are going to add quite a bit of damage to this also. And right now, I mean, this bunker might be about to go down, but damage has been done. 5 workers killed. You're going to see target firing the Queen there. I would like him to just get rid of the Zerglings. They drop pretty quickly, and obviously the Lings are going to do pretty serious damage here, as I guess the Queen being low means the Reapers can continue on a bit more easily, of course. No link speed here from Rex either, by the way, so his follow-up is looking pretty weak. No link speed really takes away some of his opportunities to continue being aggressive. Please kill this Queen! Oh, but not by losing the Reaper. It doesn't even get the Queen. That's a real shame, because obviously this Queen is super low, so getting rid of that was going to take a lot of damage out of the army. It's just going to be seeing Coffee starts up his factory at home as well, so again, it's going to be just the 2 Reapers? Okay. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a few more Reapers. It feels like he's in a very good position. It's hard to know whether link speed was started or not, of course, but I mean, it just feels like, you know, you killed the Queen as well. You've had a good start to the momentum here, and well, now a couple Zerglings going in. Rex is just going to type out GG. One of the best in the world. It's he uses his frickin' name rather than a barcode. Thank you, Maru. God, I'm so sick of all the top Koreans being like, you know what? I just can't possibly have a free-to-play account just to play tournaments on because, I mean, I wouldn't be able to use my portraits that I've unlocked and stuff. Like, god damn it, like, get yourselves an account with your name on it. Thank you, Maru. This is why Maru is the one true god. He's the red Terran in the bottom right-hand side of Triton. As we are going to have in the top left side our blue Zerg player Ayasonu. Series is still on the line here. Ayasonu, if he can win 2 games against Maru, can take this to an ace match. That would be devastating for Jin Air Green Wings in terms of them being able to advance through this group. Because every point matters at the moment, and that would put Jin Air that little bit further behind with important matches to play next week against Kaizi Gaming. Our next match today, Psystorm versus Black Knight, might not seem like an epic, but it's a really important one for Psystorm to pick up a win, 3 points. With 3 points today, Psystorm Gaming could put themselves in a position to enter the play-in match for the third player, where the third place teams will fight it out. So, very much so looking forward to that, as we do see this Reaper from Maru is on the way up. It's going to be coming out here, heading up to the top side of the map in the next couple of moments. There's going to be starting off a SCV heading in towards the natural expansion. Reaper expand from Maru, pretty typical so far. And again, just SCV scout, making sure it's not going to be a spawning pool first. Ayasonu has typically been one of the better Chinese players, and at times the absolute best from China. Obviously right now it's definitely overshadowed by time, but he also, Ayasonu, stopped playing for a long time. I'm not going to say he recently came back, but he has been kind of more of an off and on player rather than just, you know, boom, 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 show up, play, etc. As we do see the Reaper here, chased by a few of the Zerglings. Good little bit of back and forth. Dealing a little bit of damage as well. Reaper going to get pushed back into the center. Link speed starting on up as we do see the third hatchery is dropping down over the right hand side, and yeah, the Reaper from Maru just pressing around into the center of the map and wants to jump up into this main base again. See what else is going on. So, at the moment, Maru is playing a pretty safe opener into the Marine after the Reaper, into a few Hellions as well. So again, that Hellion set up, I mean, doing a very good job keeping this Reaper alive and scouting. I mean, we are at the point where Link Speed is soon to finish, and that's where Maru will want to be a bit more careful with this Reaper, perhaps. If he wants to get that home and, you know, time up for the Hellions, it kind of is getting to the point where it's time to leave. The 2 Queens here pulled to be able to push this Reaper back as well. And that Reaper goes back down to the low ground. Maru is going to opt for the Fusion Core. It's kind of funny, we haven't really seen battlecruisers much for the last couple of weeks since Pneumatized Carapace was being built a lot because of the scouting capabilities, as this Reaper will be chased down. Well, no, Ayasonu's going to pull back. I guess the Hellions were on the way and Ayasonu doesn't want to overcommit. That's really good game sense, actually. Maybe he saw it with the Overlord as well, but it's a correct decision. You don't want to run those Hellions, Lings in chasing just to lose them to Hellions. So that's a job well done right there. But yeah, the Fusion Core seems to have suddenly come back in popularity a bit, whether it's just already hitting that point where the Zergs have stopped going pneumatized every game and so on, or because they're just being punished because they're building pneumatized to then not scout anything, because you know what happens? The Zergs literally just, you know, the Terrans are just playing macro and 3CC and stuff. As you see Hellions and the Reaper from Maru coming forwards here, going to sit in the center. Group spread pushing forwards as well. 3 hatcheries up at the moment. 7 more drones, a Rotron in production, all of this building up here for Ayasonu as Maru. Well, first battlecruiser is in production, so now becomes that question. Now the next question is this bio or mech? 2 more gases on the natural. Pretty good indicator we'll probably be seeing extra factories here, same with the barracks heading off of the tech lab. So we are going to see Maru do the more typical kind of BC play, which is BC into mech, compared to Coffee's attempt to go into BC into bio earlier. So yeah, changing this up a little bit. What's up, Sparrow SC? Thank you so much for the 6-month resub. Thank you for that, much appreciated. Got some love in the chat for Sparrow. As we do see the Hellions and the Reaper coming out over the right-hand side, and Maru will be looking with the other Hellions as well coming up. He's got 8 Hellions, right? I mean, obviously, again, it is mech. He's looking to poke with these Hellions on the third base, while the BC will most likely teleport into the main. No, BC onto the third. He's just going to go for this. He has an armory then, right? No, he doesn't. Wow. I mean, I'm somewhat surprised, but actually the Hellions again on top of those Queens are doing a good job anyways. Roach is now starting to show up. No, the drone stacked up for 13 kills. Oh, what a disaster for Mayasunu. This was actually not bad for him until he lost 18 workers because of the stacking. This is one of those scenarios where you should just never touch your drones. Like, if you just leave them to their own business, they're probably going to take less damage. That'll really pull them out of the way, you know, pull them all the way to the natural rather than trying to pull them around on the third base and trying to, you know, then send them back to mining and stuff like that. That is painful. I mean, that was a huge initial Hellion shot. But Ayasonu had enough to clean it up. The roaches were coming over. The queen count was good. He just needed to not lose the drones, which was very avoidable. So big mistake there by Ayasonu, and that puts him in a very tough position. And from here, as Maru goes into mech, you have to wonder, what does Ayasonu do to get back in a game like this? Against someone like Maru, he's not going to make any macro errors along the way. What do you do? What do you aim for? I mean, starts at Roach speed. We see a Nidus network dropping down now, and that seems to be our answer to go in towards this Nidus and use that aggressively, perhaps, to try and get something done in this. As you do see the Hellions able to pick off a couple of Zerglings. Creep Tube at the front also going down. Roaches from Ayasonu still out in the centers. The Hellions to the left. Win here today will eliminate Invictus Gaming from playoff contention, by the way. They were pretty low chances anyways, but there was still a way they could make it if they won today and next week, and other results turned out certain ways. That obviously is, yeah, not quite going to happen now. If Maru just follows up with this as we kind of expect him to. This BC harasses, picks up a queen. More BCs in production as well. I mean, typically with the mech, you just never stop building battle cruisers. So you just go, you know, BC, 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 and you just get so many. You just trade with Yamatos. That's what's interesting here for Ayasunu. He has a ton of queens, but he doesn't have a Spire. And that's because he just wants to take these queens across the map to fight. So it's this one aggressive push. And you know what? I'll give it to him, you know. I can see a world in which if the queens do get across here, there's some potential. Because look at this. The Roach Ravager count is doing pretty well at the front here. This one siege tank just got set up. He's going to dive straight in for that. Well, these Roaches and Ravagers are doing okay. Where's the next Nidus coming up? A bit further back, maybe? I guess we'll... Oh, no, it's in the main base. That's even worse. He's going to be on top of the production. Maru's army supply isn't so good right now, guys. We've got a lot of Roach Ravager Queen in here with, well, a few Roaches streaming into the front. They are going to be not able to pick up a siege tank, actually. Would love to see a few of these. Okay, well, we've already got Roaches on the third base, so Ayasunu actually is kind of everywhere at the moment. This is a lot of queens, and the battle cruisers are taking some damage. You can see the SCVs trying to come in for repairs. Right now that, oh, that's more, but Corrosive Basilisk are going to land. This tank gets picked off as well as it comes out. A lot more Roaches showing up. The Roaches are very important. They have to come forwards and fight these SCVs. Otherwise, they're just going to keep getting repaired. You cannot just let these SCVs repair these battle cruisers consistently for free. You have to start punishing them and getting those kills. And Maru is starting to be in a little bit of trouble here. However, the queen count is dropping, and there are still 3 battle cruisers in the sky. And overall, that should be the issue. But maybe Ayasunu has done enough to transition this game from this point, because he's got himself in a position where 46 workers are dead. I mean, it's only really the natural that's mining somewhat comfortably here right now. He's got Niduses all over the place already. And with Niduses all over the place, you can run these battle cruisers all over as well. He really is just missing a, you know, maybe a Nidus in the back of this natural, so he can jump down there more easily. Finds another siege tank. Maru's production is being completely shut down. Now Arizona goes into a Spire. My god, this Nidus play has put Maru into a very tough position all of a sudden. And here's me talking about this game being over, but Ayasunu found something to make this work out. The Spire is going to be very important now because he needs a way to more consistently shut down those battle cruisers. Did he kill the starport? He did. No starport around anymore, so we're just stuck on these BCs, which means that if these BCs die, that's going to be that. The third base forced to lift. It's a planetary fortress over here, which will actually protect against the Nidus. The Roach is going to the natural. This is the one location where there's still mining SCVs really comfortably. He's just going to force those away, then turn away from the battle cruisers. I mean, Maru is trying to produce what he can. He can't afford much, though, because his gases have been denied everywhere. No gas over here. He's not mining gas at all, actually, at the moment. So that's really painful, as SCV is going down in the main base as well. Maru is in a lot of trouble. 74 SCVs in the kill count. That is ridiculous, as we're going to see an attempt to come up here. I mean, at this point, you can probably just target down the deeper and open the pathway. The BCs are going to use their teleport to get on top of these roaches. That's really bad for them. I'm surprised Ayasunu isn't building the corruptors, because a moment like that where the BCs have used their teleport, suddenly corruptors are guaranteed those kills, which is fantastic, of course. Again, I mean, at the same time, he's doing a great job with the roaches and the Niduses to make sure that the BCs cannot really go everywhere they want to. Nidus here, and the natural expansion goes down. We're going to be seeing one attempt in the main base. At this point, I think Ayasunu should just stop trying to build Niduses and just go for the commitment into the corruptors. See, BCs, planetary, pushing roaches away. Nidus then, the main getting picked off as well. Roaches still running back over the left-hand side. More and more corruptors in production. The BCs are the only real kind of thing holding the army off at the moment. And like I said, once those corruptors are out, 9 corruptors enough against 3 BCs? I think so. I mean, you gotta remember though, 3 BCs could Yamato, 3 of those corruptors instantly. Some cute play, load. Maru loading and unloading SCVs out on different sides of the planetary to save them from roaches, which are gonna try and move their way in here again. Still trying to deal some more damage. Roaches up the natural. Ayasunu needs to not throw too much away though. Maru has rebuilt a 45 work account. And this is what I mean. Ayasunu should have just backed off and given himself a few moments and just said, okay, you know what, I'll wait a little bit, I'll get my corruptors, and then I'll just push. Because then he would have so many roaches to do something here. Instead, he really doesn't have that many roaches at all, as these corruptors, I mean, a few more I think really are necessary, because again, if you lose 3 of them right away to the Yamato cannon, that's obviously not ideal. So, I guess with the support of the Queens, though, these BCs, they're going to have to make a decision as to what they want to do. Is Queens Corruptors coming in towards this base. Cyclones here are going to lock onto the Corruptors. You can't really let that happen, though. I mean, they don't have mag field yet, so not the end of the world. The BCs are going to continue up to the top side of the map, in which case the Corruptors should just go back home to deal with those. But then the BCs are going to teleport back down to the bottom. The play then from Ayasunu is just going to be to recall, to use the Nidus to escape away, and then not fight that unless he has to. As the UC Yamato is being used. Now we're coming in here with those BCs. Again, eventually we'll have to start using these teleports, and there it is. The teleport back down to the bottom side. This is the thing, though. Now these BCs have to be very safe because the Corruptors can hunt them down because their teleports are on cooldown. Roach Queen pouring out of this Nidus. Again, I feel like Ayasunu just lost a little bit too much in this. I feel like he just lost a little bit too many roaches to really make this really successful so far, as Hellions and Cyclones poking up that ramp again. A couple of roaches going down. Hellions going to go diving into the third base over here, and well, Roach is going to be able to pick away at those Hellions, so Hellions taking a lot of damage. 6 drones dead. Counting at the moment as we do see the Nidus in the main base getting shut down by the BCs. So we've got Corruptors of Ayasunu hanging around towards the main. Cyclones are going to come across here to the left. Ayasunu is now down 20 workers in this game as well, and this is the thing, he's really been committed to an all-in that's not actually made much progress for a while. I like this if he gets Nidus up in the main base, because now he's going to be on top of production, right? BCs are going to teleport in. He's going to be pretty close. Teleporting in, though, means, again, you don't have it defensively, so now perhaps you can obviously get these Corruptors to actually fight the BCs. He's going 4-6 straight down the Planetary Fortress for third base. I mean, that would be huge if he could get the kill on it, and it is going to start dropping, but maybe at the cost of quite a few Corruptors. Half health on the Planetary. Roaches are coming in. A lot of Corruptors going down, but he is going to get the Planetary Fortress, so he puts Maru back down on 2 bases with a new orbital to move into position, though. That's obviously not going to be a Planetary, which has been a big part of holding this. I think Ayasunu has really just lost too much, though. I mean, we're at a 41 work account against 64. Maru's rebuilt his work account wonderfully. He just gave up too many of those roaches. Now we see a Nidus attempt in the main shut down again. Yeah, he really had a kill and move, but he didn't set it up properly. Now Ayasunu has to start building extra drones of his own. He goes in towards the game where, you know, sure, Maru is kind of on 3 bases, but so is he. You know, it's not like, you know, Iasonu has a 4th base up and running. Corruptor count isn't exactly brilliant either. 13 it's okay, it gets the job done, but there's more and more Cyclones being added in. You see this Nidus now picked off the scan to get rid of the crew. Might have to scan again for the creep tumors, but, well, I don't know. It just feels very... It just feels like a lot of what was looking great for Iasunu is now definitely gone. We're just going to press in, and they will get a Cyclone. I mean, Cyclones are expensive, but there's tank support, so you can't even chase those Cyclones very far, and I mean, Maru sees these Corruptors are here, so he's going to fly his battle cruisers across the map for even more damage. Cyclones again continue to go back and forth as Queen's getting picked off. I mean, this is the problem. Iasonu just losing a little bit too much here. BCs will end up on the top side and will be able to pick up the Spore, pick up the Queen. I mean, this base is going to be in trouble. I love it. He just Yamato's the base down to half health. I mean, that's a base that actually Iasonu really does need here. The BCs have teleports, so the Corruptors show up just for the BCs to teleport away. And now we have Cyclones up the right-hand side. What a turnaround by Maru. I mean, he did all the right things to try and get in the game, hoping that his opponent would make the mistakes that he did, and Iasonu did make those mistakes. It's one of those scenarios where you have to, you know, hope your opponent makes mistakes. But when he does, getting back into it is very possible. And, you know, keeps it going. His SCV production was extremely good. The fact he'd lost 74 workers and was still on 30 at one point during the 74 worker loss just shows you how many SCVs he was able to build throughout that. So, really, really cool stuff. Always a pleasure to watch Maru, isn't it? It truly is. As we're not going to see a proxy here in game number 6 either. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran. This is Maru. And the top left-hand side, our red Zerg play from Iasonu. Sorry, from Invictus Gaming is Iasonu. Conflating the team and the player name. Aye. You guys know that conflated is my, like, new favorite word. It means, like, the merging of 2 or more sets of information. So I was watching the NFL, like, last week or something, and the commentator misspoke. And he's like, ooh. He was like, sorry, I just conflated the information there. And I was like, what the flip does conflated mean? What the flip does conflated mean? Turns out it means, you know, combining 2 or more sets of information. And now I was like, that's a good word, because I do that a lot, you know? I do that a lot when I cast. So I was like, I'm going to learn that one, and I'm going to sound really smart. And then I'm going to brag to my stream about it and not sound as smart, because now they know why I'm using the word. Diesel MP with the marble and the 500 bits. Thank you so very much, dude. How you doing? Today, it's a busy week. I want to play some marbles, but it's such a busy week. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. We will try and do some marbles next week, but yeah, this week's a little bit hectic. We've been trying to do more marbles. People have been enjoying it the last few times we did it, so like I said, we'll come back at some point. Just when there's so much StarCraft, there's only so much we can do. Reaper heading into the top left-hand side. So Maru just going to go on a bit of a scout in toward the 3rd base here, and a couple of Zerglings are going to start wandering forwards as this Reaper pulls way out through the natural. 3rd hatchery is dropping down as well. Zerglings continue to be picked away at. And link speed coming up there. Factory on the way down, going to be completing soon. And we're going to see what's going to come up next as an extra queen in production on the natural expansion. 3rd hatchery drops down over on the side also. Yeah, Maru's just kind of setting up in towards the Hellion-based opener, right? Pretty much the same as the last game so far. We'll see if he also wants to add on the fusion core once again as we continue on to this. Reaper comes up, going to be heading towards the main. Once again, keeping aggressive. Reaper up in the main, popping back out. Again, Maru just being Maru, being a bit annoying. Pneumatized Carapace will come in for Iasonu, so you should be able to get a scout off on what Maru's up to, and that will once again be the fusion core, so he's going to see Maru blend in towards the battle cruisers once again. I mean, the big play for Ayasuni this time is he actually had a really good defense last game, just this time he doesn't want to lose those 18 workers, and I think that's very easily done. Because he was in the right amount of units, he was in the right position, he just didn't put the workers in the right place, so... yeah. Just going to be seeing a couple Hellions out in the center of the map. As I do see Fusion Core going to be finishing in a moment or so, and again, a couple of Queens hanging out up on the high ground as well. So far, no access for those Hellions as they try and poke up, but no luck just yet. 2 extra Queens continue to come in as the command center will build in the front of the natural. Rotron drops down as we do see the Hellions trying to poke in towards the third, but no luck so far. Maru has to pull back here once again. Rotron dropping in the front of the natural again. That's set to go. Queen's going to press forward and drop down a couple of group tumors. A couple of extra factories dropping in as well, so just seeing the mech follow up from Maru once again. Not going to show us any bio today as the Hellions will continue to back away. And the Roach production continuing here from Ayasunu. And as we do see the Queens kind of between the natural and the third base. Things, Roaches continuing to be set up here. As we see the DC going to teleport in overhead. DC comes in right away there. The Hellions dealing some damage to a couple of Roaches. Zerglings are going to surround on those Hellions as well, and that's going to be a pretty big cleanup here. 9 drones killed. And Queen going down now as well. The rest of the Queen's going forwards. I mean, it's less drones than last time. And this Queen count now getting very good, of course, as it comes in. He's just going to go for the Overlord, which actually will not pull towards the Queens for transfusion. And Maru using this kind of little blockade here to get away a little bit more easily. He actually does get the transfusion off on the Overlord, so 9 drones, again, it's not terrible. It's really not. It's obviously, again, definitely better than the last game. We'll see what the decision here is from Ayasunu this time with the Lair. Is he just going to drop down that Roach Speed and the Nidus again? He is still building a lot of Queens, so it kind of feels like that would be the kind of route he wants to go down. If he does the same thing, obviously it would be interesting to see what Maru does differently to try and make up for what happened in the last game, right? You know, do you let the same thing happen twice? Generally, at this level of play, you don't. You know, these guys are good enough to make adjustments based on what happened in the first game, and that's why you never really see people doing the same thing multiple times in a row unless they're just really outclassing their opponent, because players can say, okay, you did this last time, I can, you know, look out for the signs and be a little bit better at picking up on that and shutting it down. Nidus Network will finish here on the natural. Now, Maru saw this, so he knows about it right away. He's building a bunker. Where's the bunker? On the third. Very interesting. He has 3 Marines that he's going to put in that bunker. That is so interesting. Nidus is way out the Nidus is way out the front, but the Cyclones lock onto it instantly. And that was just a misplaced Nidus, to say the least. Maru's going to see the Nidus here as well. This is not good, of course. I mean, losing both of the Niduses right away really slows down the setup into this. Now he's going to Nidus in the back of the main. Where, in fairness, Maru, okay, now he is going to start responding. This is the problem, right? With the Nidus play, you need to get a Nidus up. And right now, the BCs are a good presence to be able to stop the Nidus coming up outside the base. And he's got the units to stop the Nidus coming up inside the base. However, now, the BCs will chase a couple of these Roaches and Ravagers down. Finally, a Nidus will get up, but there's been so much time for Maru to build units here. He's got 4 Siege Tanks. Last time, it was also the Nidus in the main that became extremely scary. There we go. Nidus gets up. Maru will just scan it. You'll see the plethora of Queens running out of there. 12 Queens out at the moment. Roaches come out to the left-hand side. Nidus Worm continuing to build at the moment as well. Command center into the main base. And again, Hellions and tanks continue to set themselves up. Ling Roach Queen. As you do see a couple of corrosive bars dropping down. The bunker is going to be starting to repair a little bit as well. Queens, Roaches, and Ravagers pressing in towards this third base. Corrosive bars are going to drop. First Siege Tank will drop down in an instant. Extra Extra Ravager or two continuing up. There's going to be one Ravager in the front going down as well. Tank's still firing. And Supply Depot goes down here. Corrosive bars flung up into the skies. We're going to see the Battlecruiser is taking some hits as well. But I mean, with this many tanks of Wall-Off as well, you just don't see the success you saw in the last game. One of the big parts of the last game as well was obviously Iasonu got on top of the production. And being on top of the production was a huge deal because he was able to stop further units coming out. This time, obviously, Maru already had a good defense, but that's only building up from there. It's only getting better for him here as a few Ravagers going to Corrosive Bow. Towards the bunker there. A couple more bows once more as they are going to keep on landing. Bunker will fall. Tanks firing, extra Queens dropping down as well, and SCV is also being picked away at, so 10 workers killed so far. Cruisers are just going to be a bit too much. You can already see Iasonu's supply dropping pretty heavily. I mean, there's only really Queens left here. And obviously the tanks can move even further forwards and really protect this third base. This one was a little bit more simple from Maru. Obviously didn't get behind. Put himself in a good position. Denied Nidus after Nidus stopped any entry attempt from Iasonu. Maru closes out the series.